Our focus therefore now really moves to Caroline Springs Square Shopping Centre, where we've seen 29 positive cases already. The second priority location for us is Melton, particularly the city of Melton, High Street of Melton and the retail areas in Melton. We now have 13 active cases in the city of Melton area. 6 of those are new cases today. We are doing a lot of work around Melton High Street, a number of retail sites. There are 13 exposure sites already listed. I expect to see more during the course of today. My call out to everybody who lives in the city of Melton or is using Melton as part of their retailing activity, please come forward and get tested if you have any symptoms or you've been to any of those exposure sites.
During the pandemic, I was studying a Bachelor's of Biomedical Science. At the same time, I was also a lab assistant. I was working at Ballarat Hospital. It definitely was a difficult transition, moving everything online, because biomedical science there's a lot of lab work, and trying to do labs through a screen just wasn't ideal for me. And for me personally, I'm a hands-on learner, and I would constantly just get distracted. It was not for me at all. 2020 lockdown really was an emotional roller coaster for me. I think that was probably one of the first years I experienced mental health at an extreme, and it was, I don't know. Like the first couple of months, I think everyone was kind of like excited to stay at home and, not go to school and not go to work. And after, the first month, you realize like we're not going back. I think that's when it kind of hit me, and I just kind of felt trapped at home and just doing the same thing every single day. And it definitely did affect my mental health a lot. I remember the first time actually, like when we actually got out, and I felt so anxious. Like in social events, it was just, I'll always just, I'm like, oh, I might get COVID if I touch this, or I might get COVID if I, stand next to this person. And it definitely has shaped the woman I am today, because I went through a lot of trials throughout that whole year by myself, and I had no other person to really, lean on. At first, the message about the vaccine was a bit confusing, and I feel like within the African community, the one thing people really didn't agree with was the fact that it was mandatory. And I feel like the government could have gone a different route with that. I know for my family in particular, they didn't feel comfortable getting the vaccine at all. And I remember I had come home one day after work, and I had gotten I was the first person in the household to get my vax, and my parents freaked out. They thought I was going to die, and but I needed it. I needed it to go to work.
My name is McKinney or McCain. I'm 13. I was born in January. I'm at Canton Jane High School right now, and I started when the pandemic. I had a couple impact on my family. Being locked down was hard because not many things you get to do. You got to just stay in your house, because if you want to go park, you go and stay there for a matter of hours. Not like how long you want to stay there. Like if I choose there, I'll stay with friends. I'll help them, just play around, have fun. But with the pandemic, it wasn't fun because you gotta stay there for at least an hour, and then you gotta go home. And plus, the curfew, you get fined. It was a lot of emotions because I was kind of sad for my brother Malal. He couldn't go work. It was kind of sad.
أنا اسمي ماري جيمس، ساكنة في ميلتون ويست، ومعايا 5 أطفال وزوجي. بصراحة كده فترة 2020 كانت إنه الاختبار اللي إحنا اختبرناه كانت صعبة بالنسبة لي وبالنسبة لأولادي كمان. أنا طبعا اتأثرت منها يوم 20/7، فكانت صعبة، كانت تجربة صعبة إنه عشان تكون منفصلة من أولادك مدة 14 يوم، إنه عشان تكون بعيدة من أولادك في نفس البيت، كانت صعبة، كانت صعبة بصراحة. كانت تجربة إنه ما بتتمناه حتى لعدوك. كانت فترة صعبة شديدة، وكانت صعبة لأولادي كمان في الناحية المدرسة. وده كانت أول سنة لبنتي، كانت بدت بريب، كانت أصعب أيام رغم إنه كانت مضطرة إن تعيد الفصل لأنه شو 6 شهور behind. وأنا كنت مجبورة إنه أعمل حاجة which is أنا ما كنت إنه educated on it إنه عشان أكون مثلا مربية teacher كانت صعبة. وبصراحة كانت أسوأ أيام، كانت أسوأ أيام بصراحة. كنت عندي صوت إنه أتكلم مع ناس المدرسة، لكن غير حاجات كده ما كان عندي. كنت عندي صوت إنه أقول يا أخواني إنه كفاية، ما قادرة تاني. فأنا مضطرة كل يوم بيبعتوا لي رسائل من المدرسة، إذا واحد منهم متأخر على الفصل وإذا إنه ودى الليلة ما دخل الصف so mentally فكريا كانت صعبة. فببعت إيميل كل يوم بقول لهم يا إخواني كفاية وما بقدر تاني إنه أكمل في المشوار ده. لو هم سقطوا خليهم يسقطوا. ده الحتة الوحيدة إنه فعلا اتكلمت فيها، وغير كده ما اتكلمت في شيء تاني.
During pandemic, there were 7 of us living in the house. 2 of my babies, they're pandemic babies. One is Comfort. She was born on the 2020 in August. Pandemic, it was really hard, and that was my 4th pregnancy. And I had cesarean because of that. And I was in the hospital. Nobody could visit you. It was really tough. It was really hard. Family members couldn't visit me. I had to stay in the hospital. So it wasn't really good. Pandemic had a lot of impact on the families, the youth, the children. Comfort, the meaning of it is something to comfort me during 2020 pandemic. So I named her Comfort to comfort me. So yeah, she comforted me. We had this stereotype, we didn't want to get the injection because everyone was saying it's no good because when you are pregnant, people say it's no good, you have to wait, but I didn't have mine because I was 8 months pregnant at that time, so I didn't take the vaccine until I had my baby. If there is another pandemic, what I recommend, people need to take precaution, wear the mask, be in distant, not to be too close to people, but I reckon people need to move on with their daily life. People need to go out in the community instead of lockdown because that is not the option. There are other countries that they're still moving about, but just be aware, wear your mask, wash your hand, cover your mouth when you're sneezing, and just look out for each other instead of lockdown. So that could be another better option.
Hi, my name is Malal Lewis. I'm currently a board member at AOI. My position is a treasurer, so I handle all the finances and whatnot. I've been a board member for the last 2 years since the organization has been established, and I just have a passion for my community, especially seeing that there's a great need in there, and I feel like that's something that I can take part in and encourage the youths because I know the things that they've been through. I'm also a law student, so I'm currently in my 4th year, so penultimate year in law and commerce at ACU.
My name is Sabur. I'm a 1st-year law student at Melbourne Law School, and what drove me to be part of AYI is I have a really deep sense of community, and I've seen some of the issues that young people, young Africans have faced, and I feel like I can use my skills and my relationships with the community to develop, better pathways and opportunities for them, particularly in terms of education, which is a personal passion of mine. Being part of a community organisation during the pandemic, it came with its challenges, obviously, because you see, the pandemic, everyone is inside. A lot of people are experiencing a lack of motivation. A lot of people are disconnected. But I think it was also a good opportunity to look for ways that our organisation can create a big impact and to kind of encourage the community to have a sense of togetherness in uncertain times.
The lockdown was very challenging for everyone to have kids locked up in their houses, can't even leave their house to play sports. That was a different change for them, a different dynamic. So to be able to provide them services even online was something that needful for them. And I think even for the parents themselves, they would have struggled to be able to engage with their kids and be able to keep them motivated during the pandemic. I think it was good for our organisation to step in and to play the part. And I think that was something that a lot of parents had showed gratitude for us too, being able to be there for their kids even during times they weren't even allowed to leave their house. So I think it was definitely an urgent need. Mental health is something that we do take very serious, especially within our community. It's a very taboo subject. By being able to speak about it openly online and using the pandemic as an opportunity to actually allow people to reflect on their mental health and see how things affect them, it was a good opportunity for us to have those deep discussions and have those intimate discussions with the young kids.
I guess now now we have the opportunity to do everything that we wanted to do. I think that the pandemic, although we tried our hardest to do what we can, I think it's now giving us opportunities to actually implement our programs, to see the young people face to face, to be able to engage on a deeper level. I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most, and seeing our growth and seeing our volunteers engaged in our programs instead of us being the face of it. I think that's what I'm looking forward to. The community being more infiltrated by the work of AYI. I think that's something that I'm keen for.
Yeah, I think now being out of lockdown, we've seen that engagement has increased a lot more. The kids are more willing now, knowing how it feels to be locked down in their houses. They're more willing to come out to play basketball, to participate in the events that we hold and initiatives that we hold. So I think it would be great if we can receive funding, whether it be from the local council or from the government, just to be able to provide more programs and more initiatives for these young kids, because 2 years they've been locked down. I think it would be a great way now that outside is open, that they can receive more activities, more programs, and funding will go a long way when it comes to that.
My name is Hannah Singleton and I'm the Youth and Schools Manager at the Western Bulldog Community Foundation. Unfortunately, as a lot of the statistics showed, there was a higher rate of COVID cases in the western area of Melbourne, so in that Western Bulldogs heartland, and then stretching out all the way to Melton and beyond. So because we are in that heartland, we were able to support working with other organisations to really get that COVID safe messaging, provide vaccination support, as well as provide care packs as well for those people who were in a position that might have not been able to access it or might have not known where to access it. So by actually positioning ourselves in the community, we were able to provide that support that may have not been there previously. Definitely seen a bit of both hesitancy, but then really, I guess, that excitement to come back face to face. So there has been a bit of both in different areas and aspects throughout from 2021 all the way to now. We've had a big uptake in our programs, but then it has been hard for young people to engage consistently with a lot of other things opening up. So there's more jobs on the market, there's more activities to get engaged with now. So yeah, a lot of young people have found it hard to get back into everything straight away because there is so much, it can be overwhelming. But to continue to build that rapport has really helped in building that trust as a big part of what we do to allow young people to feel comfortable engaging in our program, or whether it's giving out care packages, they feel comfortable taking it off us as well.